Hello. Today we are going to make wine bags. They are so quick to make up. You can do them in under 20 minutes. So you're going to take a piece of fabric 22 inches long. So this length is 22 inches and 12 inches wide. They're going to go around the aperture on your sewing machine. So if you have a huge one, mine's pretty big, 12 inches works. If it's too, you don't want this to be too tight going around. So if you're worried about it being a little too tight, make this a little wider, like 12 and a half or 13 inches. But yep, that's pretty simple. Now you can get, this is a one-way pattern, so it's a little bit harder to cut, but you can get out of a yard of quilting cotton, and that's all this is. And they're so cute, right? Because you can personalize them. Out of a yard of quilting cotton, you will get 6, because they're 22 inches wide. So quilting cotton's 44. If it's 42, just make them 21, right? And then 3 cuts going up because they're 12 inches each. You have 36 inches going up. So you can get 6 out of a bag, out of a yard. You can get 6 bags out of a yard of fabric. No worries. So the first thing we're going to do is measure down 4 inches and press this wrong sides together because we want the top of the bag to be finished, right, and nice and pretty. And then we're going to cut a 22-inch piece of ribbon, fold it right sides together with this red ribbon. It doesn't matter, but if you have a ribbon that has a pattern on it, then it's going to matter. Fold it right sides together, and you want to pin it to the right side of the bag, just under where you've folded that fabric. So this fold gives you a gauge of where to pin it. So pin it on the right side of the fabric, fold it in half. Then we're going to open up our fabric and pin it down this long length here, encompassing that ribbon that we just attached. Make sure your ribbon stays inside. You don't want to stitch the ends of it into your side seam for sure. And you want this to end up even, right? If it's cut square, so that's why we pin it. If you don't pin it, this is long enough that your feed dogs will move this bottom piece faster, and then it'll be shorter at the other end, which is not good. And then we're going to pin it across the bottom. So we're going to take it to the machine, and we're going to stitch it down this side and across the bottom. All right, you can see I've taken the base off of my machine, and I'm going to start with the long row and stitch down. When you get to the end, it's better to stitch off. You get a nice corner that way. You don't have some kind of weird pivot thing going on. Plus, this is a bag that you're going to put wine in. So you want to make sure that the bottom structure is sound. You certainly don't want the wine to fall out. That would be bad. It would be so sad. All right, so now I'm going to pull my bag apart and kind of flatten out the bottom, right? And I want the seam allowance to go one way. And I'm going to measure these just to make sure. I'm going to eyeball them. I mean, it's a wine bag, right? Measure them so they look like they're even. And then I'm going to stitch across. I'll put a pin in here. I'm going to stitch across these triangles. And on this side, the hem, the bottom seam and the side seam match, and on this side, there's no seam. And I'm going to stitch them at about, that's an inch, about an inch and a quarter. And I do back tack at the corner of these because, again, I don't want the wine to fall out and break. One, see, so this little triangle. I'm going to do the other one. And you can measure these if it makes you feel more comfortable. I don't bother, but I have these two little triangles. I'm gonna turn it inside right now. Remember, there's still a pin in there from your ribbon, so just be careful. So take that pin out. You can see our ribbon is nicely attached to the side of our bag. But what we end up with, putting those feet in there, and it's a great technique for bags, is this nice square bottom, right? So the bag actually stands up and sits almost all on its own. A little thread here. The next thing we're going to do, where we press that down 4 inches, we are going to turn that inside. See how quick these are? So I'm just going to stuff that inside. Huh. There we go. So it's nice and even, and then I'm going to slide it over the arm of my machine. And I like to start on the seam, and I slide it over as far as I can get it. So this gives me a gauge when I can't go any further. And you just stitch around. And we're done. You can't get much easier than that. All right, we have our cute little wine bag. And you just pop in your favorite beverage, and the bottom's nice and secure. You're not worried about it going somewhere. A little fluff and fold. Tie up a little bow. I love this reindeer fabric. It's so cute. Okay. So there you go. There is our cute little wine bag. So it looks finished on the top because we have that fold. It's nice and sturdy. I can carry it, and I'm not worried about the wine going anywhere. You can personalize this fabric, right? You know, you have somebody that's a fisherman or somebody that loves Barbie, right? Barbie's big. You can personalize this bag any way you like with the fabric that you purchase. So I have these bags for sale in my Etsy shop. I also have pre-cut pieces, so you can buy a bunch of different pieces, and instead of buying a yard of fabric and some ribbon and making them all the same, you can make a bunch of different ones. But I hope you enjoyed this little craft, and until next time, happy sewing. Bye.